We've got 1 week left, 7 full days before the June 28th primary, and there's going to be a lot of talk, a lot more commercials, a lot more posts on social media, and I'm sure plenty of other interviews as well as we continue on covering what's going on with the June 28th primary here in Illinois, which apparently is like the latest time in the year that a primary has been held in the state of Illinois for decades. I think I saw something like since the Great Depression. Now, I haven't independently verified that, but interesting now that we're facing, record inflation and all kinds of things, and we're seeing this primary this late. Either way, if you're a Republican, you've got tons of choices on the ballot. If you're a Democrat, you've got tons of choices on the ballot for various races. For instance, Democrats, you've got multiple Secretary of State candidates looking to replace Jesse White, but on the Democrat side, you also have a couple of choices for governor. Incumbent Governor J.B. Pritzker, who's campaigning in New Hampshire over the weekend, and Beverly Miles, who we shared a conversation with earlier this morning. If you missed that, you can find it at our Facebook page, either Bishop on Air or the WMAY Facebook page. Best way to find it, though, is follow me on Twitter, and you can connect with us that way, Bishop on Air. But joining us right now on the Republican side is one of 6 candidates vying for the GOP nomination for governor, and that is Darren Bailey, state senator, and he is making a trip all around the state trying to hit up all 102 counties. Where are you at this morning, Senator? Thanks for taking time with us.
Hey, good morning, Greg. Thank you for the opportunity. So, we've got Stephanie on the bus at Peoria, making a sachet through there with our regular calendar. And then due to the Trump visit in Quincy, our tour that was supposed to take place this Saturday, Cindy and I are down here making that tour today, and right now we're in Murfreesboro getting ready to go out and meet a crowd that's assembling outside.
So we've seen some pictures that you've been sharing of the various stops you were making, and Senator, there's dozens of people. How big are the crowds that you're bringing out for these visits?
Well, as I'm looking outside right now, there's about 20 people currently assembled outside for our meeting at 8:30. Steve Cortez was with us last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and he was absolutely astounded. Our lowest crowd so far has been about 35 people, but most of the time it's ranged anywhere from 50 to 200, and people are ready for change, and they're seeking someone who will stand up for them, who has a record like I do of standing up for them, common sense values, getting our streets safe, getting our schools back in order, and getting our taxes under control. And unfortunately, Republican leadership has failed at that over the years.
Senator, we've seen, of course, the issue of endorsements. We're going to hear President Donald Trump in Quincy this Saturday endorse Congresswoman Mary Miller. Unclear who else he may endorse, but you're making your own set of endorsements, including those who are running for State House, endorsing candidates who are going up against Republican incumbents. Just a couple here in this area in Springfield. You've made some endorsements of Don DeBolt for State Senate against Steve McClure, and also an endorsement of others. Tell us about why you're endorsing these Republican challengers for Republican incumbents.
Well, it's just quite simple. I've told some of these candidates that I wouldn't make endorsements unless I was given a reason, and that's kind of really that's been my history. I won't get involved unless people give me a reason to, and some of these candidates have chosen to, attack my time on the North Clay School Board. They went about a backdoor way of slamming me, and I just simply won't have it. And when someone, we have got to get true conservatives in office, and I will stand up and expose that. Some of these candidates, had absolutely no problem supporting Richard Irvin early on, but now all of a sudden when I come out and make an endorsement, they've got a problem with that. So when I make an endorsement, it's because the candidate has not exemplified the true values of the Republican Party, nor have they stood on that. And anyone can, look at, follow the money, look at the record, look at where they get their support from, and check their voting record out and see and understand that we have got to make a flush of some Republican senators and representatives and replace them with solid conservatives, men and women who've been working for a living, owning businesses, hiring and firing, who truly suffered under this COVID pandemic. And And that's how we fix Illinois.
Does the votes that some Republicans put on doubling of the gas tax in 2019 play a role in your endorsements of their challengers?
Yeah, it does. It actually does. In their history, whether it was voting for recreational marijuana, whether it was just not standing up for the people, and that is one of the most one of the most problematic situations right now is high taxation. So when you look back and you simply look at these voting records, you understand that we have got to have something different. We've got to do something different, and I've been telling people that since day one, and I will contend. That's why I'm getting so much pushback from the establishment, because they're scared to death of accountability and transparency, and that is what I bring to the table.
We're talking with State Senator Darren Bailey, one of the 6 Republicans vying for the GOP nomination to take on the Democrats in the November general election, the midterm election. It's now 8:16 here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. Senator, talking of endorsements, what's the communication been like with the former president's office, Donald Trump? Are you seeking his endorsement?
Well, I have sought it, yes, and he knows Illinois is a tough state, and it's basically a wait-and-see approach. Every day is just a different journey, and we wait on that and to see what happens, and I would be honored to have it, and but I would believe that we will win without it, and we'll move forward with whatever God allows. I have no problem with that.
Senator, some of the concerns that at least I've heard from talking with a variety of people are that if you were to get the nomination, they worry that you're not going to be able to get the statewide votes. What do you say to those who have those concerns, especially looking at Chicago and the suburbs? How are you going to, if you get the nomination, beat the incumbent who has tens of millions of dollars at his disposal?
Well, that's certainly the message of the establishment-minded people that I was talking about earlier, referencing regarding accountability and transparency. People in Illinois, they're tired. The people in Chicago, I will contend that Cindy and I have been in Chicago more than all of the other campaigns combined. We're in the churches, we're in the communities. People are tired and they want relief. And one of the biggest things I think that's beginning to crack the door right now, that's going to open wide up this summer, is energy. Rolling blackouts and brownouts. People down here in Marion, Illinois, received letters from their co-op yesterday telling them to expect brownouts and blackouts because of the grid process. Everybody is feeling the pinch of that right now with higher utility costs. Everyone's experiencing the high cost of gas and diesel, and not only that, I think we're probably going to experience some rationing and supply problems later on. And then let's talk about the food problems. We go to the grocery store and the food's gotten so expensive, and I think we're going to see some limitations and problems in the supply line later this summer. Every bit of this could be addressed if we would convene into office. Right now, today, we've been calling for that for Governor Pritzker, for the Democrat leaders, to call a session so we can deal with this and offer relief to the people of Illinois, but nobody's listening. So at the end of the day, people are going to be fed up with that. And the pressures that we're facing here in central and southern Illinois, they're about twice as intense up in the Chicago area. So people are wanting a message of hope and of change and to find someone who actually will stand up for them. And that's what we've been doing for the last 4 years that I've been serving. People in Chicago greatly respect the fact that I stood up for them, pushed back the business owners up there, on when I sued Governor Pritzker and stood up against the mask mandate. People in central and southern Illinois don't realize that, but there's a lot of commonality with all across the entire state.
And finally here, Senator, I know you got to get to this gathering you've got there on your campaign stop, but Governor J.B. Pritzker was on the stump, not in Illinois over the weekend. He was in New Hampshire. What does that signal to you?
Well, it signals to me the blind arrogance of this man, that he has absolutely no idea of the pulse of the people of Illinois, not even in his own party. That's what that signals to me. That's what I've been contending since day one. Governor Pritzker and the Democrat Party they're blinded by their actions, by their policies, and for someone to have the audacity to go out there when people are suffering here at the gas pump and suffering at the grocery store and suffering when they get their energy bills to decide whether they're going to turn their air conditioner on a particular day, to decide whether or not they're going to be able to go to one of their children's outings or ball games. And I'm hearing those stories every day. So just absolute blind arrogance from a governor that is completely out of touch with the people.
Do you think he's looking to run for president in 2024?
I'd say anything is possible, and I think that is obvious that we've heard that for quite some time, and to leave the state and to go out and to stunt for something such as this, I think proves that point. He should have been here calling the General Assembly together so we could start addressing these problems that are hampering and hindering the people of Illinois. So unfortunately, yes, I'd say he's definitely vying for that position.
State Senator Darren Bailey, greatly appreciate your time this morning. I imagine we'll talk again in the week ahead, so be safe out there, and we'll be watching closely.
All right. God bless you. Thanks a lot.
It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. And let's take a look at